a podcast created by two guys brought together by movement, transformed into brotherhood. The boys share their authenticity as they deep dive into what it means to explore this human experience. Shedding light on personal trials and accumulated wisdom, Conscious Collingwood is meant to provoke thought and insight to expand your personal awareness. Come along for the journey as Justin and Jeff exemplify what it means to be a man living wholeheartedly, balancing the divine, masculine, and feminine. Welcome to Conscious Collingwood.
Jeff and I are just dreaming into the new podcast studio since, the golf club's going to be busy and
we're going to get kicked out of our space.
No more blue velvet couch.
No.
We're changing things up. We're excited for the evolution. Yeah.
Dude, I've got a lot of hours. No, I wouldn't say hours, but a lot of time already into like researching editing software and all the things. Like there is so much stuff out there.
Oh yeah.
It's confusing. There's so much information out there about editing podcasts and just everything. It's insane. And how many companies can survive feeding the system? It's impressive.
I've heard that I think it's 90% of listeners listen to about 70 podcasts.
Really?
Yeah. There's about 70 out there that capture the most audience.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not a viewer has 70 different podcasts.
No. There's about 70 top podcasts that capture most of the listening or viewing.
That's great.
Yeah. And we're somewhere below that, and that's okay.
Like 71 or something, maybe.
Yes. That's a good math. I think you're right.
Long way to go.
Long way to go, and happy to be here.
100%. I feel like this benefits me and you individually, and hopefully it affects other people. But this is a good session for you and I.
Yep. Still one of my favorite things I do every week.
It's kind of like therapy. Not that I've done therapy, but you know what I mean. We're moving energy, we're moving thoughts, we're moving things that want to be shared, and I feel you're leaving lighter sometimes.
Oh, absolutely. A little bit more clarity. It's kind of a gym for me to become a better speaker.
Mm-hmm.
You and I always reflect on how to speak a little bit more crisp, removing filler words. Yeah. I'm trying to remove
Yeah. I am my worst critic, obviously.
Yeah, you are. You're hard on yourself. So, it's Thursday. We usually record on Tuesday. I had a little bit of a cold and wasn't speaking much this week, which was nice. After a very interesting week last week.
What happened last week?
Oh, just in the retreat. Prisma retreat, which is it's a leadership training, and Prisma really believes that you should actively participate in your healing to know yourself enough to help support other people, and also use other people as catalysts to healing. So it was the first 2 days we went into practices, learning how to relate, how to be what she would describe. So we flew this woman in from Colorado. Her name's Tataya. She is 50 looks 30 years old, yoga teacher, super just healthy woman. Maybe it has to do with doing emotional healing work. Who knows? But we, the first 2 days were getting into comfortability, being in what she called continuity of contact. So a lot of eye contact with other people and exercises to move together, to be able to express in your body and be in connection with another. In any relationship, you're in full presence and connection. It's like the rest of the world fades away, and in that moment, it's really just you and that other person. Sometimes it's a trio, and that's what continuity of contact is. It's when the world fades away and it's just you and another. Dude, it was very powerful, very, very interesting. And then the next few days, we would do these arenas, and an arena is after learning these practices of moving energy, or maybe engaging with unexpressed or parts of ourselves that let me rephrase that. Move energy. Just move energy. And then in the arena, there would be these arenas. It's a circle, and the arena would happen. She would begin it. Everybody's just sitting there. And your role in that arena is to not avoid eye contact, but to scan the room, look around, engage with eye contact, and notice if somebody triggers something in you. Maybe you have similar eyes to my father, and I would walk up to you, sit down in front of you, and through continuity of contact, non-verbal, this was very non-verbal, you and I would, if you were a willing participant, engage with me in some of the practices to move energy, and the practices were very expressive. There could be screaming, there could be pushing, there could be giving, someone a piece of your mind. That's obviously you're acting as my father and not taking it personally. Stuff like that. It was very interesting, very impactful, very. In the whole part of Prisma is making the unconscious conscious. So, where have you shoved things down inside you that don't allow you to be in congruence? So say that, I want to even create an example, but in this example, I'm using my father, but I don't actually feel this way, just so you know. But say you look like my father, and I've never given my father a piece of my mind. But I've always struggled when there's intense men that I would dissociate or have be not fully expressed. Play it safe. If you were like a strong male that was aggressive and I played small around you, I wouldn't be in congruence because I actually never got to say what maybe I felt in those moments. Maybe it's a work thing, maybe your boss, or maybe my boss felt like my father, so I played small and I never really, played as big as I could have and been as successful as I wanted to be. So it's the allowance to express yourself, to relieve yourself of the burden of maybe unspoken things or unexpressed feelings or emotions, and maybe it's not giving your father a piece of your mind, but pushing against somebody, and somebody, like, you literally just letting out the physical intensity or the aggression that you felt towards a person, screaming, yeah, stuff like that. It was, and very intentionally, there would be multiple arenas a day. Yeah. So you think there's nothing left? There's always more. Yeah.
Were you pretty fatigued by the end of the day? Like, end of the week, was it exhausting?
Well, Jeff, I was also simultaneously in such physical discomfort from poison ivy.
Yes.
I had a photo shoot with my girlfriend. It was like she calls it granola. It was super cute. Fucking running through fields of flowers and lying in shed, and I got poison ivy, and I'm allergic to poison ivy. So my arm swelled up twice the size it is. And it didn't look jacked. It just looked like it was holding water. There were 2 spots that really bubbled, blistered, and were just like these oozing. It was a nightmare. It was an absolute nightmare. All under my armpit. I feel like it was probably the worst I've ever had it. And it's been 2 weeks of dealing with it. So it's on my back and on my arm. So I was simultaneously dealing with a lot of discomfort physically and emotionally. So yeah, I was exhausted.
That's a whole topic in itself, poison ivy.
And the days were 11-hour days. So it was wake up, maybe have a little coffee or tea, and then you're there, and then you get home, it's bedtime. Done. You're exhausted.
Do you feel like this retreat, when you walk away from it, are you able to like have these things that showed up alchemize, or are they things you've learned that you just have to apply day to day?
So I can
and integrate and
yeah, I'll speak to my experience. I felt liberated after, but that's not everybody's experience. I felt very liberated, and the end of the last full day, and then the final day, we do an integration. So we spend quite a bit of time making sure that we have a statement that is empowering and that allows us to take whatever we felt needed to be expressed so that we could be more authentic in our lives with us in the future, and how to truly embody it physically. So I thought that was very helpful. Yeah, I felt very liberated. And I think part of that is I've gone into I've done my shadow work. And there's always more. It's not to say that, I don't know. It's not a brag, but, and I've always been an emotionally very expressive person. So I've felt safe to cry and be angry and express myself, whether that was against a boxing bag, kicking and punching and elbowing things. So I've always felt very expressed, and exercise. I've used exercise to tap into the part of me that needs to be expressed, whether that's the warrior, usually is. But there was some stuff that came up, and at the end of it, I felt very liberated.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's always nice to come away with having something to either work on or see or something, because nothing worse than going into one of those things going, is anything going to show up? Like, of course something is, but sometimes there was hesitations.
And something I learned, which my intention of going was to learn from a masterful facilitator, which she was, but to hold continuity of contact, to be able to connect to the felt sense inside my body, notice my thoughts, notice the felt sense, all the sensations, and then also be in connection with another simultaneously. So it's cool. It's powerful. And I think as a leader, you have to be able to do that. You have to be able to put yourself in their shoes.
Yeah.
And notice actually what's going on in my body. Am I feeling something that they're feeling? Am I what's going on? There's always more. I think 70% of language is body.
Yeah. I know I was harassed by one individual to join and invited by others, but I didn't feel, no time. It would be very challenging for me to take a week off at this time of year to go and do something like that, right now at least. But I would be fascinated to see what would show up, and not that I sit here self-righteous thinking, there's nothing to show up, but I'm wondering if I would be reliving things that I feel like I've processed. So is it really effective, or maybe I've just have never truly processed those things? Maybe there's still stuff there. Maybe there's some residual, lingering dust, but...
Or you'll learn how to be more intimate with another.
Yeah.
A lot of eye contact.
There's something from the experience.
A lot of movement.
So in Circle on Tuesday, you and Dan were sharing a little bit. Do you feel comfortable sharing that one, the chopstick example? Is that something you can talk about or no?
I don't know. I'll leave a mystery behind it.
Okay. That's fair enough.
Yeah. It was good. It was a good week.
See, it's funny because you're docile about it. You're very kind of stoic about the experience, where Ari's just like, she just gets so explosive with her reactions of how awesome it is and everything else, right? Yeah. So there is a mystery of what the fuck is going on at this retreat.
It's good. I think it's good left to be a mystery.
I think what does attract me to, because I think it sounds like they would like to try and do it again, and what attracts me to it is the idea of just learning from a great leader, another mentor, if you will, someone to show you a different way and
very
strengthen your leadership skills.
Yeah, very skillful.
Yeah,
facilitator. Yeah, I learned a lot.
Well, I guess it's the end of that topic then.
Done. Prisma.
You won't say anything else, so I guess we're done.
Yeah. Well, if you have questions.
No, because as we discussed previously in the week, it's hard for you to share any stories because those are personal, and then it potentially gives some of the mystery away. But it's also not everything's meant to be shared, right? Those are your stories, and unless you're going to be in that arena and in that space experiencing it all, it's not for everybody, right? So
yeah, a lot of stories aren't mine to share.
Yeah, and that's respecting the sanctity of that space. Well, it was a great podcast.
Dude,
just did a really short one today.
No, how was your day? How was your week?
Week was good. What did I do this week or last week?
Last week.
Last week, I can't recall, dude. It's a blur. No, I'm just drawing a blank. I will say we got the golf club open last week. We've had a few bookings. We had a really nice night last night. It was the Leafs opening home game, so we had bit of a feature going on last night, and place was busy, so it was really nice. And it's so amazing because we've for the last few years have closed the business down come springtime and into the summer, and I can genuinely say this, that whenever the money starts rolling back in and you see the business awake, it's just there. I have so much gratitude and appreciation for people's hard spent and earned money and just all that stuff, right? And it's just fascinating to create a business that people want to spend their time at, and it helps your family and your life. I don't know. It's just a very interesting trip. It's like you just build this thing. If you build it, they will come. But you have this idea, you create it, you bring it to life, you birth it, but then you don't really know if it's going to work or not. But it's just in you. Mm-hmm. And then the next thing you know, there's people showing up and they do enjoy it and they keep coming back and they tell their friends, and it's a trip. So, all that to say, it's just this week's been full of a lot of gratitude that we're back up and running, and maybe I mentioned before, maybe I didn't, but yeah, Terry and I this summer made a commitment to stay open this coming summer, and we've got some junior programs laid out and planned, and just carry the momentum we have from the winter season into the summer, because there's no reason why we can't create a year-round facility with the space that we have. So yeah, lots of good things going on. I feel like we got our shit together, which is nice. So
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been thinking, we've been scheming, you and I, about a business, which I'm really excited. And it's almost like an offshoot of the podcast.
Yeah.
Because the podcast really speaks to conscious engagement with your life.
Mm-hmm. You're going to leave it there?
No.
Oh. Well, I feel honored that you brought it up, and I think hitting me right now is the idea that it was. I think I had this idea of a podcast or something, but then you're the one who came out and really were like, invited me to the opportunity. And that was, a year or so ago, whatever it was.
Oh, it was June last year. I was driving to Ottawa, and we were sending each other 9-minute voice notes instead of. Well, I was actually so far north. I was taking the Northern Passage, I would call it, because that's what it felt like.
Yeah.
And there wasn't enough service for a phone call, so that's what we were doing. And then we were like, "Fucking, let's just have a podcast."
Yeah.
And the podcast has been birthed to be honest. I in hopes that it helps others through the vulnerability. Be more conscious in their own lives.
Yeah. So with that being said, you sparked this idea of us, I guess, if I could call it, create a coaching container, something to really hone in on our experiences and share that with others. And, as I've mumbled on here many times, I feel called to help and support others, because I feel like I really liberated myself, and I want other people to feel as good as I do, and as balanced as, if you can call, being as balanced as possible in this life. But yeah, share that wisdom and wealth of knowledge that I do have, although I'm still accumulating it, and just try and support as many people as possible.
Yeah.
Because it feels good. Especially
we're quite the duo.
Yeah. And especially and I know you're the same way, when I get in the trenches in a potential low, and you can come out the other side using your own tools, your own introspection, it's a really liberating feeling. You feel like a very sovereign individual. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're your own doctor, you're your own therapist, you figured this out, you've got enough tools in the toolbox to iron that kink out.
Yeah. And you and I have worked with amazing coaches and mentors to support us to get to where we are now.
Yeah.
And we feel called that it's time to pass on the information.
Yeah. And for me personally, it feels like I've been seeking permission for some reason. I don't know why, but that's the thing. And so, again,
maybe it's a daddy issue. He needs to go to Prisma.
it's possible.
Work out. Yeah.
Yeah, possible. Maybe
I
not,
want to
but
do.
possible.
I'm gonna do what I want, Daddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I could say.
Sorry.
Oh my God, Justin. There's so much truth there.
You stomp your feet.
Yeah.
Yeah. How old are you? How old are you? 7. Express yourself, little Jeffrey. Express yourself, boy. No, just kidding. That's a tease.
Oh, mercy. What was I even saying? Oh, I was listening to a podcast there, one of the 70, and it was Paul Checks.
Yeah.
And he had this gentleman on named Mike Gonzalez, and they were talking about Mike's zone of genius is building courses and helping people establish their online platforms. And yeah, it was a really good listen. And because it wasn't all based in science and stuff, it was just very practical information. Not that science isn't, but you get my point. So Mike did a great job chatting with Paul. But what I got from that was, the institutions that we're so used to, universities, colleges, all that sort of stuff, of course in certain areas that education system serves a great purpose, but in many areas it doesn't. Mm-hmm. And I don't know why, but it was a bit of a light bulb moment, maybe because I'm a slow learner, I don't know. But it was giving me permission to share my wisdom and experience, because that's going to benefit somebody, and that is practical information that could really impact someone's life. And that's shit you can't learn in a school. And they were talking about, I don't know the stats and stuff, but there's a lot of corporate entities out there now that don't hire universities students because that information they're useless. They're not critical thinkers. They haven't been taught to critically think. They don't have a lot of life experience. They go to school for, X amount of years, and they come out just with a piece of paper. There's no real substance behind it, right? Depending on the application. So, I don't know why. I was like, holy shit, because there is so much online learning available now that it's just the digital age, and the ability and the opportunity to learn really anything is available. It's really
to your fingertips.
Exactly. And there's really no excuses now for anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the internet has provided that opportunity for all of us. There is literally zero excuses anymore.
Yeah.
Zero.
I don't think there ever were.
That's fair. But now for certain there is.
Yeah. We self-imposed limitations. Now, and the course really it's mirroring our knowledge and our information and our experiences, but I have a set of skills and an ability to help people into greater health, and we're going to be talking about holistic health and in the application in real time, and it's going to be a supportive container. The first container we're going to do is the winter container, because who the fuck doesn't need support in the winter?
There's no sun.
It is a long, depressing time. And can you imagine having a group of people that are actively participating in trying to be healthier, happier human beings in that time, instead of just letting it take hold and have its way with you? And yeah,
it's a very good point.
Yeah.
As dramatic as you made that.
Yeah, instead of sleeping without a blanket, cold winter night in a shack, what would it be like to come home, lay in a bed with a blanket?
Nice fire roaring.
aka that's us.
Yeah.
I'm the blanket, he's the fire.
Yeah, double Aries.
There we go. So, very excited, and this has been a mission of mine. During COVID, I wrote I think it was over 80 pages.
Wow.
Of coursework, and I actually let that go. I don't even have it anymore.
What?
I know.
Why?
When relationships end, sometimes you gotta let things go that are on
Shit.
accounts that you don't have access to.
Oh, fuck.
But I I wrote much more than that. I do have access to some other things that are mine, but yeah, I'm excited to share all the knowledge that I've acquired and can pass on, and God, the things I'm most passionate about, which is helping people.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exciting. I'm interested to see how, because of course, nutrition, movement, that holistic lifestyle from you, that's your bread and butter, and I feel like, yeah, the mindset work.
Yeah. Mindset, breathing, nutrition, hydration, movement, sleep, and recovery.
Yeah.
We're going to be diving deep on all that kind of stuff.
But I feel like, yeah, my I gently use the word expertise. Through my experience, my mindset work, I think it could be a great benefit. So I'm interested to see how, the ideas I have, how we're going to integrate it into your structure, and how it all marry together. And
yeah, and the truth is, ever since we met, you've applied knowledge from me and have really excelled physically, like in greater health. So you have so much experience, and you have a lens that I could never understand. I don't have a wife and 2 teenage girls. So what I love about us as a duo is we have all this practical knowledge from working with our hands and our warrior's journey to where we are now and the health we're in and how to apply it. So it's a good, well-rounded team.
Yeah, and I think what's kind of exciting too is because when I've worked with a coach or I've signed on for an online community or something, it's a one-to-one thing. Of course, if you're in the community setting, you're learning from all the other individuals in there and whatnot. But I think from like a value proposition, people that would sign on for this are obviously getting a better bang for their buck because they're getting 2 of us and kind of twice the support, and twice the perspective and all that great stuff. So I think that's a great selling feature all on its own, for sure. I'm going to boast about myself for a second, and I might ask you the same question. Although I think we know it with you, but
let's pump your tires.
Pump them up.
Pump those fucking tires. Yeah.
What I feel like I've really grown into, and what's the word I'm looking for? Consciously really trying to improve on is just listening abilities and really feeling someone. So when you talk with the Prisma and being really connected in that continuity, it's like really being present with that individual and listening to their words they're using, how they're sharing them, where are they emphasizing, all that sort of stuff. Because if I'm acting as the mirror, I have to be that present. And even yesterday walking with a friend there, it's just like just being so honed in of going, okay, what do I need to reflect to this person? What's coming up. I'm not saying I put a ton of pressure on myself, but it's just becomes this intrinsic knowing of just sitting there listening and then feeling it and then just reflecting back. And so with more practice, it's getting stronger, and it feels good because when you get feedback from that person going, wow, that really landed for me, it's like, okay, this is working.
Yeah.
So That's beautiful. And that has to do with the mentors I follow, the people online. I call them mentors, although they don't know who I am.
They are mentors.
They're mentors.
Fact.
They're hidden mentors, yeah.
Paul Chek is a mentor. He's a mentor of mine.
Yeah.
Wise people.
So I feel like that is that's a really, really strong characteristic I have that's going to support people. So what would be one of yours, Justin? What's your
My superpower is my balanced perspective on life and applying health practices. The landscape of health and fitness out there is dramatic and so opinionated that it's overwhelming and confusing to most people, where I don't see it that way. I have a very balanced perspective that allows for understanding and a unique or bespoke application to yourself. So, there are truths, but it's really playing within, not making it such a stressful journey. There's going to be trials. Mm-hmm. Nothing's easy, especially if you want to be, your best self, because the behaviors that got you to where you are not going to get you to the future. So you have to let go of the behaviors that got you to where you are, where it's not working and you've met the pain teacher or the discomfort in some way, and letting that go to bring in a different future for yourself. So there's challenge, but it doesn't have to be so stressful or so dramatic that by the end of it you're exhausted and you're like, fuck this, I'm going to fall back on what I used to do and how I used to act, because I just want to feel like me again.
Yeah. And I know from experience working with you in class and your 60-day challenge and things like that, it's about creating sustainability.
It's all about sustainability.
That's all it is.
Yeah. And being honest with yourself.
Yeah.
And knowing that you're going to fall back, and that's okay, and then you got to pick yourself back up again, and, how didn't it work? Why didn't it work? And what would work? Maybe you went 100% and you just got to go 50. Because sometimes a lot of people on their health journey they want to drive
0 to 60. It's
0 to fucking 60. We're letting everything go. I'm starting something new, and it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
That's not what this is.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Let's have some fun.
Because you have these conditionings, and if you just strip them all away, these addictions, these habits, whatever they are, they just need, your body, your nervous system needs some time to just, okay, let's ease into this.
Yeah, let's ease into this.
Yeah. Yeah. Because there's the thing too, I'm even saying this, but as a child, as a baby, you just don't start running. You get up, you fall, you get your balance, you find your way, you're holding on to things, you're learning how to crawl and walk, and then you get to learn how to use your body, and it's the same thing. Like, if you just can't, you can't go from 0 to 100. It just doesn't, it's not sustainable.
Yeah, I don't know if it is like the schooling system where, or even work, where there's this expectation of right and wrong. So many people are like, what's the right diet? What's the wrong diet? And the truth is, it's so unique to each individual, because you are completely different than anybody else. My God, Jess didn't even fucking react to the poison ivy, and it has tortured me for 2 weeks. So what one person...
Torture is a great word.
Absolute torture.
It's fucking torture.
It's been torture, yeah. But what works for one person will not work for another, and it's having the enough knowledge to be able to support that support the person regardless of their circumstance. Yeah.
Well, and potentially cliche, but this idea, this mentality of going from 0 to 60, it's a flaw all on its own because you're missing the juice in between. The whole thing is about the journey. Yeah. Because let's say you're overweight or whatever that might be for you, and as the example, and you want to lose all that weight and just be skinny tomorrow and fit, it doesn't work. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
And part of getting to that, better physique or more healthier physique is the lessons you're going to learn along the way, and that retreat that you've put yourself in. Yeah. All the information you're going to learn, and the lessons and the setbacks and the successes and the failures, and it's about the journey, not the destination. And that mentality of wanting to go from A to B as quickly as possible is potentially why that person, we get in situations because we don't want to be in the pain. You don't want to sit in your shit. It's like, well, that's where all the information is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You're trying to avoid something. So no, you gotta sit in it.
It's
go through the process.
Yeah. What I'm really excited about is it's all relationship. So this coaching container will put you in. It's like, put you in deeper relationship with yourself. You're gonna learn a lot about yourself, and you're gonna gain tools and communication skills to be very honest and bring yourself into greater consciousness. One thing Tataya said last week was, the unconscious is infinite, and it blew me away. I know that's a little side tangent, but
your mic's giving sketchy feelings here.
Oh, sorry.
Pick up. No, it's fine.
Thanks, Jeff. So, what I'm most stoked about is truly to support people. This is what I've been most passionate about. I love lifestyle design, and that's, let's look at your lifestyle. What's a lifestyle that's actually going to make you happy? What are the things you want to do? How do you want to feel? And know that it's not going to happen tomorrow. You really have to prove to yourself that you're worthy enough for it. Nothing's given. Life is hard. It's meant to be, because and the happiness and the health come from developing a very strong relationship with yourself. And that means, it's like cleaning your dirty ass garage. No, I'm not speaking about you. But organize. Nothing feels better than when you organize and clean something you've been putting off for so long.
Mm-hmm.
That's liberation.
Yeah.
And by the end of the course, or the coaching container, I hope everybody feels liberated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that. And I'm thinking about courses I've done, and then looking at other courses out there. And I mean, I know we're still building a structure and curriculum and things like that. But what I'm excited about is the entire, like the holistic opportunity here, because maybe I'm speaking before we really, really got deep about it all, but it's like incorporating movement, the nutrition, hydration, mindset. Like, it is a holistic experience, because when I used a coach and stuff, it was, all about emotions and all that sort of stuff, which is great. But to me, looking back, if movement, if not a mandatory movement, but like if movement was incorporated in that, we move so much energy when we move our bodies, and we get so many downloads, and we connect to ourselves. There's so much more self-awareness involved or available. It just helps tying in all the other stuff. And so for me, it's a huge foundation for
Absolutely.
the human experience. And so again, tying in the physical movement with nutrition, hydration, recovery, rest, and then all the dissolving limiting mindsets and all that sort of stuff, it's just going to be
It's not about telling everybody, to do a class
No.
at Everlove. If you love kickboxing, if you love going to the golf club, if you like going to the gymnastics or dancing, like, it's finding the ways that you like to move, because movement is empowering. If you are sedentary, you can't truly be an empowered person, because there's weakness, consciously or unconsciously. So to be fully expressed, you need to feel competent and capable in your body, to move and feel connected. Because if you feel connected, you'll feel strong.
Mm-hmm.
So it's finding those ways. If you're not breathing correctly, we're going to go into breathing patterns. Your breath is what modulates how you see and perceive the world around you. If you're constantly looking for, whatever you're looking for, you'll find. So if you're looking in a fear or a fight state, you're looking for arguments with your wife, you're looking for arguments with your coworkers, you're going to find it. It's that holistic lens that I get so stoked about. And you can't have healthy thoughts or healthy breathing or move without injury if you're eating like shit.
Mm-hmm.
If you're drinking water that's full of fucking chlorine and shit. Absolutely every part of it has application. And if you're not sleeping, your hormones are fucked, and you're probably
He's going off.
Probably a dick. I don't know anybody that isn't kind of hard to deal with if they don't have a full night's sleep.
Yeah, agreed, 100%.
I'm
one of them.
I'm passionate about it.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. But even something as simple as incorporating a daily walk or walk every other day, just depending on someone's current level of movement experience. But and that's why we're saying it's going to be, it won't be cookie cutter. It'll be tailored to whatever that individual needs.
It's actually one of the most important pieces to set time where you're alone with yourself. To let thoughts come in, If you don't ever actually spend time alone, and you're constantly bombarded and berated by other people's thoughts, other people's needs, fucking information, marketing, your brain doesn't actually have time to think.
Yeah.
What does it need? What's actually on your mind? What's actually on your heart?
Mm-hmm.
What have you been holding in? Go to Prisma. Let it go.
Do you want me to share a quick little metaphor that it popped into my awareness this morning? So, and this is something I'm going to probably build on later on, but it's very maybe silly. But driving here, my truck is letting me know I need an oil change. I'm less than 10% left on the oil life of the current filter and whatever else. It's telling me my back tailgate was open, but it's not. So there's a sensor there that just needs a little bit of love or something. And then what was the last thing? My truck's been telling me I have a flat tire, or at least a low tire, but I think the sensor in the wheel well is off because it's not flat. It hasn't lost any air. So my point is, I get in the truck this morning, started up, dropping Elle off at school, and I've got these 3 warnings talking to me.
Mm-hmm.
So my point is, how many times in our life is our body trying to talk to us? Yeah. It's giving us warning signals. And you just go, and on the truck, you just press a button and says, okay, I acknowledge you. Say, okay, and it closes off, and you get back to the odometer, speed limit, etc.
Just get back to driving.
Get back to driving. And then it's like, okay, the next day, hey, dude, I need my oil changed. The fucking tailgate's still open, which it's not, but the tailgate's still open.
Yeah.
And my back right tire's flat. Okay. Fucking 3 weeks later goes by. Next thing you know, it's really suffering because I haven't given it an oil change. The tire's now flat, actually.
Is it actually?
Yeah, and I lost tools out of the back of the truck. And I'm just kidding. But I'm just saying, I just thought it's just a simple metaphor to go, the body is always speaking to us, and how many times are we just ignoring it? Or we're not giving ourselves time to see the warnings or feel the warnings or, have that intuitive awareness because we're scrolling or we're gossiping or we're whatever, looking for that numbing experience, right? It's like, just fucking be with yourself.
Yeah. Well,
It's a beautiful experience.
Everybody knows that their relationship with anybody suffers if they don't listen.
Yeah.
And the most important relationship is the one you have for yourself. So, fuck, you're gonna have, everything in your life is gonna change in a positive fashion if you dive a little bit deeper, start listening, and cultivate that loving relationship with yourself.
And to me, it's fascinating why people, and myself included, why humans ignore that stuff. Like, when you can look in the mirror and you're just like, I need to do this differently or I need to do that differently, and then you don't. Like, what is that limiting mindset and why is it there? And that's the excavation required to level up.
Yeah.
So, woo.
Fuck. I'm excited. This is great. Exciting things happen. Evolution. We're also building a little podcast studio.
Yeah.
Because we gotta change this up.
Mm-hmm.
We're growing. That's exciting. And honestly, I am personally deeply grateful for anyone who listens to the podcast and listens to us jabber about life.
Yeah. Let's get drunk on the next one.
Yeah, let's do it.
8 a.m. in the morning?
Fuck.
We'll have to do a nighttime one.
Yeah. We have talked about having our little unhinged one. Maybe we'll pass a little doobie around and
I'd maybe prefer that.
And we'll maybe have a
drink. We could try shrooms again. I got way too emotional with the shrooms.
Can you imagine we do fucking mushrooms on the podcast? We're here for 3 hours talking.
I don't know if anyone would listen to that shit. Maybe they would.
Well, if you do listen to this podcast and you know us, or you have an ability to contact us through social media, you just let us know. Would you want to hear us on mushrooms?
Maybe you should try and sell the course first.
Yeah.
Or do both.
Funny. Well, that's the thing. It isn't. What I don't like is a coach or somebody touting that they have it all together, or this restrictive, to be a good person, you can't have fun, or you have to be straight edge. And I don't fucking believe that's true. I actually like having a few tequilas with you, and getting silly and having a little micro dose and smoking a little bit of pot. I love that. So, and I got a fucking 6-pack, 365 days a year.
Yeah, I do too now. You know that? Well, it's not 3. No, yeah, it's growing.
Fuck yeah, dude. And that's just...
I fuck with Terry all the time now.
Do you?
Oh, yeah.
That's funny.
I go, do you ever think you'd have a husband at 41 that looked like this?
Right?
Yeah.
You're fucking right! Amen!
I do.
Yeah,
Dude, I'm going to tell this story.
Here we go.
There's one day, I was, I don't know what the hell.
You're a fucking machine.
Yeah, I'm a fucking machine, all right.
Yeah.
So I'm,
there it is.
Yeah. That's a Jaguar, isn't it?
Jeff's out.
So listen, she's gonna yell at me for telling this story, but no, she won't. But I don't think I was flexing, but I was doing something, or I'm across the kitchen, wherever I was, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But I had a T-shirt on.
You were embodied?
Yeah, and she's like, "You got a bunch of dirt. You got dirt on your arm." I'm like, "What? No, I don't." She said, "Yeah, you got dirt over your arm." No, it was a fucking shadow from my tricep.
Nice. Fuck yeah.
So now
that's awesome, dude.
So now I'll just walk around the house once in a while and just be like, Terry, got some dirt on my arm.
a little dirty here.
I'll just play
oh,
into it.
I love it.
Now
dude.
she just rolls her eyes. She goes, I
That's
should never have fucking
awesome.
said anything.
Yeah.
Because my ego is just
Through the roof.
loving it.
Good though.
Yeah.
You know, that's what we have to offer.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think being an athletic individual growing up that way, I really, like, I am, being serious here. I have never been stronger, more flexible than I feel like I'm in my prime right now.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm getting younger to some degree. So, for whatever that's worth, it feels really good.
Cellularly, you probably are younger.
Yeah.
The more exercise.
I wish, when I look back playing hockey, and then, maybe not so much as a teenager, but in my mid 20s or early 20s playing, golf and working and all that sort of stuff. Like, I wish I had the strength I have now, because I didn't, right?
Yeah.
No shot. So, and I think that's an accumulation too. Like, it's just the body gets stronger with a little bit of age, because there's this old saying, like, old man strength. Like, you might think you're strong. You take on a fucking 50-year-old dad, Justin. I know you're strong, but that man, whether he's in shape or not, he's got a wealth of strength, a reservoir you know nothing about.
Well, it's funny, actually. There was a 50-year-old man in Prisma.
Oh, yeah?
Hadn't worked out a day in his life. And he was a brick shithouse.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He took the might of Dan, and he took my might.
Wow.
Two different scenarios, but strong man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like, you'll, playing pickup hockey or something, you think you're some young guys, and then you're playing against someone who's a little bit older. Let's say they're 10, 15, 20 years older than you, and you go into the corner with that guy, you don't really have a shot. Like, there's something there. It's true. Old man strength. There's something there.
I played ball hockey. My uncle was a farmer, and he had the biggest hands I've ever seen. And then when I played ball hockey at church, pretty much my whole life, these farmers, we played with the fathers for a while, and I always admired it. And then the fathers retired, and then the boys would play, and it was just the boys, and we were young teenagers, and it got rough sometimes. And the fucking strength these boys had, just from...
Well, think about how many bales of hay they've moved since they were fucking 6 years old.
Yeah,
like,
chores.
Chores,
yeah.
stacked.
There's levels.
Yeah.
There's levels. Yeah, I feel that.
They got forearms the size of your quads.
Yeah, well,
right? They're just...
Yeah, fuck. Yeah.
It's not even... It's just the same size from the elbow to the wrist. It's just one... There's no shape. It's just a cylinder.
Yeah, it looks like my arm when I had poison ivy.
Yeah.
Swollen.
I almost went... Like, do you have photos of it?
I have some photos, yeah.
We should almost, if you were willing, like, almost post that I could...
Because the tattoos, it was kind of... Like, and I didn't take pictures of the boils or the fucking... What do you call it? Blisters?
Yeah.
Like, blistering. Because it's disgusting, Jeff.
Yeah.
But I have some pictures of... under my arm.
The worst time I ever had it, I was working at the golf course and, working in the bush, doing some underbrushing and things like that. And, of course, got some poison ivy. But the challenge was it got on the legs and then it got onto the tractor seat without knowing it. And then a few days later, you get a couple spots on the back of... I got a couple spots on the back of my leg. And you're like, oh, okay. Next thing you know, it's just like almost up my entire thigh.
Yeah, yeah.
The backside.
Yeah.
And it's just a welt. It's just a patch the size of the table here.
Yeah, yeah.
And the whole thing's just blistering. And then it gets on your junk.
Dude, I can't believe
And that's
it
an
got on your
experience all in
genitals.
itself.
Yeah.
And I was joking with Justin.
Yeah, he joked with me.
That
I don't know if you're serious about it.
I think it's a pretty cool, getting a little bit on your shaft. It's an interesting experience.
Huh.
The sensation you get is
Yeah.
insane.
Okay.
Because you want to scratch it so bad, and it's like it enhances that sensation.
What do they call it? The Kama Sutra, or what is that practice of tantra?
Tantra?
You want to touch it, but you can't. You got fucking poison ivy on your cock, and you're just like, tie me up, baby! Like, there's nothing I can do. Like, that's funny.
Oh,
I was
mercy.
dying. I told Jess, I was like, yeah, Jeff told me he got it on a shaft one time. He's like, fuck, you should try it. It feels good. And I'm like, fuck no. The experiences I've had to go through.
It's pain. It's there's a paradox there.
Yeah,
It's
it's more bad than good.
Yes.
Okay. But when it's good, it's good. Yeah, I get it.
Oh, hey, so sign up for our course.
We got a lot of experience. We got a lot of life experience.
Okay, we're done.
That's it. All right, that was good. Fuck, that's funny. Fuck.
Oh,
Dude.
fuck. Does Tony Robbins have fucking... Do you ever have poison ivy in his dick?
No, probably
Oh,
not.
Guess what? We have, so that's great
Well,
experience to
you
share.
speak for yourself. That's okay.
Thank you for being with us. We love recording these podcasts. If you know anyone who would resonate with today's episode, we would be grateful if you would share it with them. If you have any questions or comments, do not be shy and reach out. We would love to connect with you. Until next time, be well, love yourself, and live consciously.